Okay, let's tackle a big one in Trak and let's talk about projects and sub jobs within the Trak platform. It is such an enormous piece for lots of different businesses for lots of different reasons. And I guess the first part of this is understanding why you would use sub jobs. Now, for smaller maintenance type businesses who use the Trak platform, you might have a venue or building or client that you do lots and lots of work for. You don't want to have separate individual jobs all over the place within your Track account. You want to be able to create a project and have all of the visits for that job or that particular building or the site or whatever it is in the one space. This allows you to keep a really close eye on how that job is performing, who was there last time, the history of what is outstanding and what's not, rather than having separate jobs all over the platform. The other side that people would use this for is for larger jobs and projects. You might have a really large job that you want to break down into clearly defined stages. So they might be units or townhouses or levels or stages of a job so that you can have a project or admin overview, but then you can have the individual stages allocated to staff so that it's easy for you to capture photos, files, costings, profitability, documentation, timesheets in each area, rather than having a super complex spreadsheet in the background where you're trying to figure it all out manually. Then you've got businesses that use a large amount of contractors. Contractors on a job can be shared once. So if you have a job, you can share it with one contractor. For some of our businesses, an example would be a roof company. They might have multiple contractors who work for them. So they might create one job and then they might have a sub job for scaffolding that gets shared with the scaffolding company. They might have one job for the fascia gutter company that goes out and does a fascia and gutter. Then they might have another job shared with their roof installation and flashings team that does that last component. They're all separate sub jobs within the one project that are allocated to different trades for different areas that you can communicate with separately but manage their quality assurance, safety and documentation, purchase orders and costings, all in the one space without having multiple emails and stuff flying around everywhere. Then you've got the last component where I see a lot of sub jobs being used, which is variations on a project. Lots of businesses will price a job, they'll go to the job, and then a large variation will pop up that might go for several days. You might have multiple hours against it, multiple expenses, costs, photos, quality assurance that you need to manage within the system, and then you'll invoice it when it's complete. A great way to be able to handle that is to create a job and then just put a sub job there for your variation. This allows you to have your photos and your timesheets separate so that you can manage the job easily. And when it comes to invoicing, you've got this nice little compartment with everything that's relevant for that variation. So let's have a look at how you would manage subjobs in your Track account. Now, the first place that we usually manage subjobs is our defaults. So under our name, we've got our company settings and we've got our defaults here, whether it's your job defaults, whether it's your job types, recurring job defaults, and our sub-job defaults. With your sub-jobs, some businesses have got a job that recurs kind of all the time, but it's not necessarily scheduled. So you might go and inspect solar panels or complete some testing or commissioning, or you might have general maintenance that you do at a building. So the job is going to be the same all the time. So when you create the sub job, you might want the job description and the site address and everything to pull through automatically. Some businesses want the site address and the contact information, but it may be a different contractor, different custom fields. So you set this to suit your business so you don't have to type as many details. Obviously, within your sub-jobs, you've got your job name. This can be set in the system and managed, or you can set your default statuses and details here as well. So all of this can be managed to help save you lots of time when creating the sub-job itself. Now, when we've got our jobs set up in the Trak platform, okay, you'll see that you can have a job with a sub-job in it. Okay, so I can see here I've got 15 Power Street, Fitzroy, okay? And then you can see that there is a sub-job, all right? In the Trak platform, when you create a job for the first time, that job allows you to create multiple subjobs within it. And if you want, you can keep removing it and create as many different subjobs as you like, depending on how complex your business is. But effectively, once you've got your subjobs, you'll have the main project overview. This will suck all the information from all the subjobs up into one main admin view, which is very handy for kind of larger projects so that you can see what's happening on the whole job with all the projects. But if you want to look at something individually, you can select the subjob and you can go down individually and look at the different job details. They can have different statuses, they can have different dates and details. You can select it, open it, and manage it separately. This is really important so you can have different stages, different areas, different floors, levels, units, apartments, whatever you need. When you are in your subjob, if you add a timesheet entry, if you upload a photo or note, if you complete a safe work method statement, if you manage anything within that job, not only does it save it against that subjob for you for future reference, but it will also send it back to your main project. So if you look at the activity feed, I can see here that in our subjob for the hot water service, it's showing in my main project where there's been activity. Anything that happens in the job, whether it's in the project or whether it's in the subjob, will show at your project level. The other great thing about this is if you're setting up a job, when you upload files or documentation within the Trak platform, you can choose that those files or documents are added just to the project or whether they are uploaded and managed to all your subjobs or particular subjobs as well. So this means that your documentation can be managed in one space and shared between multiple jobs or stages of the job without you having to go into each individual piece. This is a really important part of being able to manage permissions and who can see what, especially if you've got multiple contractors within the platform. Okay, so your ability to manage your jobs and your subjobs allow you to have a really high level of flexibility within the Trak platform, and it also allows you to manage full finance overview and full details, whether it's at the subjob or level or at the project level. Subjobs is a fantastic way for you to be able to improve processes, understand costings, manage quality assurance of contractors and staff, and just stay on top of all those small pieces that are happening within your business. Once you've got a subjob that's already been set up, adding another subjob is really easy. You can just go to your subjobs tab within the Trak platform, and you can upload another subjob by adding a subjob here. If you've got a job that's in your system already and you want to move that job into a project, you can add an existing job to a project whenever you want. So if you've accidentally created a job separately and you want to be able to move it into a subjob, you can by just adding an existing job. If you've got a subjob in your system that you don't want to be part of your main project, when you open it up, you can remove it here, and this will make the job a separate job by itself. So you can manage the process of pulling separate jobs into a project or removing them if they're no longer relevant. If you've got an overview of projects and you want to be able to see them quickly, if you go to your jobs tab at the top, every single project will show this little project icon. This allows you to be able to break down what are projects and what aren't. If you want to be able to filter and just show your projects and not all the subjobs on here, I suggest you just choose that, we want to only show projects only, and then you can apply that in your system and it'll only show the project details. Once again, this might be saved as a link, or you might want to have this as your default, but this allows you to only have, the one project. You can open it up and then you can see the subjobs within it. So this is a great way of staying on top of those details. Now, creating a project for the first time is really simple. You create a job like you would normally. Okay. Once your job has been created, you'll see that there is a tab at the top here in the middle of your page that allows you to create a project. Select that option, and you've got an option when you start to either move this job to a project, create a new project, or add subjobs. You can choose which option best suits you and then just follow the prompts to create your subjobs really simply within the Trak platform. Effectively, A sub job is exactly the same as a normal job. It's just tied into the project, so all of your documentation and data stays within the system. If you've got any questions or queries in regards to creating a project, how projects might work for you in your particular business instance, or if you've got any items that you want to be able to clarify from this video today, please reach out to our team at contact@trak.co. Thank you very much for using the system.